Thanks for tuning in to Topanga Sessions. I'm your host, Nick Stubblefield. I'm here with Music Carolyn. How you doing?
I'm well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Now, you are a mom of three
Yeah.
and you're in music.
Yes.
Let's try to unpack that for our viewer.
I wear a lot of hats and I buy a lot of shoes.
Ooh, I bet you have some nice shoes.
Right, because I'm on the creative side, but I'm also on the business side of the music industry, which I always have been.
And that's because of your mom.
Yes, my mother was a choir director. So, in addition to teaching us all the parts, she was also very much a businesswoman, consistently finding ways to make more money or switch churches when they weren't paying her right.
We call that an entrepreneur in some
Yes,
language.
we call it was definitely not a side job. It really was entrepreneurship, and she treated it that way. And I kind of learned kind of self respect for my art and for my craft through her because she always demanded a certain amount of respect. A lot of people see doing sacred music or playing at the church as a volunteer job or something you just give to the Lord, but she saw it as a job and was paid as such and demanded respect as well for that.
Just respect in general, it's just
Hmm.
something that is kind of going out the window, so to speak, these days.
It is. It is. Especially in the church. It's funny you say that. It's funny you say
Yes.
that.
Now, when you were a child,
Hmm.
you had the mom and dad and white picket fence,
Yes.
and that kind of caused you to have some issues when you became single.
Right. I think there's these expectations that you have, right? And if the world tells you that this is what life is supposed to look like and then you actually have it, your parents are married and happily married and enjoy each other and are affectionate and very much in love, you think that this is a requirement for your life that you can't be happy unless you have this, right? And so when I divorced, I really had this kind of thought, or I guess it was before I divorced, really, where I kind of had this thought that maybe that's not a requirement for me. Maybe what's more important is me finding out what I want to do with my life.
That is so strong.
Yeah.
Now, I personally call that social conformity, and
Yes.
since we are obviously on this boat talking about
Mhm.
this, that there is no one right way. There is
Right.
no right way to do anything. It's what's in your heart and what
Mhm.
makes you happy
Yes.
will ultimately allow you to move forward.
Yeah.
And that is something that you really instill in your three littles.
Yes, I think what started my journey to kind of figure out this autonomy, what Carolyn needed out of life, right? Not what the marriage needed, not what my children needed, but what I needed, started when I kind of had this identity crisis when I became a mother in 2011. I no longer wanted to do music. I didn't want to sing, which was so rare for me. Um, Even then, I had a home studio and I literally did not sing or perform or really even write songs actively with other people for like seven
How did that
years.
make you feel? I mean,
I
from doing
mean,
something for that long.
I must have died, every 6 months. I think a new kind of death,
So you
right?
actually were reborn every
Hmm.
6 months, because
I
the
would say
great
so.
thing is about that, and like I said, I've actually had a few nervous breakdowns.
Mm.
Are it breaks the shell of that social conformity person that
Yeah.
isn't who you actually are.
Right, right. And you struggle with that, right? Everybody wants to be a good mother. Everybody wants to provide for their family and kind of be there. But I got to a point where I said, it's not going to be me. I'm not going to be required to uphold this idea
I
of what
absolutely love
life
that.
is supposed to be. And once I realized that the marriage and the family that I had could not sustain itself and also allow me to be who I needed to be, I had to make a choice.
And that was a very powerful choice because it's not just you anymore.
Right. And that's scary too, right? There's all these fears that, well, if I do this, am I making the wrong decision for them? I
Mhm.
knew it was the right decision for me. But sometimes you have to decide, is my legacy more important than my own life? And some people make that choice on a daily basis. They say, you know what?
Absolutely.
I want my children to have this. So I'm going to sacrifice my life or what I wanted out of life for it. And that's a noble cause, right? I'm not saying anyone should not have that choice, But for me, I needed to know that I was living the life I wanted.
Well, I believe they call that balance,
Yeah.
which is something that's so rare as well in this world today. And finding that concept of self, and also not just being able to like take care of you,
Right.
but also be able to take care of the people around you that depend on you or not even depend on you,
Right.
because we're all here really trying to help ourselves grow and help the people around us grow.
Exactly. And you can't outwardly say you want other people to be successful or have what they want out of life if you're really not trying to do that for yourself, right?
Absolutely.
So,
All right. Now, you said you quit and you're having these identity crises. What made you actually get back into it?
I don't even know where to start. Like when I quit everything. I basically was working these really demanding main job and side
Well,
jobs.
all right. Got to ask, what were
Uh
they?
oh. I was working at Entertainment Tonight in The
Okay.
Insider, very demanding daily television show. Everybody there loved me,
The
and I
word
loved.
stress comes to mind.
The word stress does come to mind. Early mornings, late nights, and breaking news,
Hmm.
and that's what you're living with. And the people there are beautiful. And they literally put their lives on the line so that people know what's going on in the celebrity world. And so I loved being there, but at a certain point, I knew I was no longer supposed to be. And so I quit there. I quit literally all of my side hustles, and I literally put myself in a place where I could not be the breadwinner. I could not provide the lifestyle that I always had because I wasn't living the life I wanted. And
And
and that was a breaking process because the whole time I'm thinking I'm going to mess up everybody's life if I quit now, but I
a-
needed to.
and that's what people struggle with from the day to day. But have you ever seen the Steve Harvey video called Jump?
I think so.
I
Yeah.
stumbled on it. If you at home have the
Yeah.
opportunity, just Google Steve Harvey jump video,
Yeah.
and the cameras were still rolling on his show,
Mhm.
and he was just starting talking to the audience about living your truth,
Yep.
and it was so powerful for me because that's when I had made the choice
Mhm.
to stop doing corporate America and wearing the suits and doing all of that.
Right.
And he said, "You've got to jump, but just know that you are going to crash and burn and get yourself cut up, but
Uh-huh.
you're going to pick yourself up off the ground and you're going to do it again."
Mhm.
And the thing is, it gets easier and easier the
Every
more that
time.
you go. And it was right when I was starting to move from Nashville to
Mhm.
California.
Yeah.
And I think that just resounds everything that you are doing even to date.
Yeah, yeah. Literally after I quit what I call everything, people just started calling me. It wasn't even that I was reaching back out to them. I think one of the first people who called me, and I hadn't sang in what did I tell you? 7 years.
Uh huh.
Okay. And one of my old choir directors called me and she said, I'm doing this gospel thing and I need you to come and sing, you know, this Mahalia Jackson song. Um, um, it escapes me now. I'll think about it.
It's
But
fine.
basically, she asked me to come and sing. And I said, "Oh, Dr. D, I haven't been singing." And she said, "No, the Lord told me that you're going to be singing at the thing." And I said, I don't think I can make it. She was like, "No, the Lord told me." And I was like,
Isn't it amazing how life, the second that you actually live in your truth, starts giving you these beautiful moments?
"Yes."
And to dive a little deeper into that, with myself, when I first got into interviewing and on camera, I probably interviewed 300 artists for free because it was just something that I
You
knew I
wanted to.
loved and I wanted to do.
Yep.
And we always think that if we're going to do something that we love or that we want to do, that we should get paid for it.
Mhm.
But experience is a lot of payment.
Mhm. It is, and I actually got paid for that gig,
Oh, that's
but
awesome.
it was amazing that she kind of believed for me when I wasn't quite there yet. In other words, I had to quit everything first to cleanse myself from being in
I
the rat
love how
race,
you said that.
the treadmill of life, and everything. I literally had to have nothing so that I could choose something, right?
Absolutely.
So,
That's kind of how I also met my girlfriend and now fiance.
okay,
Yeah. Well,
congratulations.
thank you. I had stopped talking to everyone and just kind of focused on being me. And when you drop all the white noise, the beautiful things in life really start to actually come to you
They do.
because they're actually always there. You're just too busy with everything else to pay attention.
Exactly. Exactly. So that's how the song came about, A Beach of My Own. Um, it's just this song where I'm just talking about how I landed. The song starts after the storm, I was washed ashore.
I love that we're on a boat and you just said that.
Yes. So the song is just almost this introspection that, yeah, I've been through a storm, but now I'm on a beach of my own.
Well,
And
the storm
exactly,
actually gave you the beach.
the storm gave me the beach. I love that.
Yeah, it's just so crazy how our language really does define us.
Mhm.
And we can always say something as like a negative.
Mhm.
We had an artist that was not going that was supposed to be here today
Okay.
and they didn't and we found out that they weren't really like open to being open. And
Oh.
that's what's so beautiful. Instead of being upset,
Mhm.
I've got to be able to have this beautiful conversation with you.
Yes.
And I don't know about you at home, but like your story is just so powerful and just warms the heart.
Thank you. Thank you.
So for you at home, you know what, Carolyn? What would you say to the single mom or to the mom at home that is trying to figure everything out and trying to find that balance?
Um, I would just say you have to figure out what you want and know that your children are going to be okay, your parents are going to be okay, your friends are going to be okay, but they're only going to be okay because you're doing what you are meant to do. There's a certain amount of alignment that you have to almost kind of acquiesce to, and it requires that you do exactly what you came here to do, even if it doesn't look exactly how you think it should have looked. Try it, continue to do it every day, even if it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour after the kids go to sleep, before they wake up in the morning. Find a way to do exactly what you're supposed to do, and everything else will fall in place.
Everything has beauty, and when you find something that you like,
Yeah.
even when you don't know exactly what your purpose is,
Mm-hmm.
start doing things that make you happy
Yeah.
and you will find passion.
Yeah, I would say there were so many things I loved that I would never even buy or get for myself. I would spend crazy amounts of money for my children and know I liked stuff, and I would literally look at it and not buy it
All
for
right,
no
what's
reason.
all right, gotta ask.
Okay, I'm going to tell you what I've leaned into. Okay. In the last year, I have leaned into my love for flamingos.
Hey.
Yes, I have this. So it took me probably 5 years to buy this ring. This ring
Oh,
is only
really?
$200, but I thought it was an exorbitant expense for a piece of jewelry I'm only gonna wear it sometimes. It's not essential, whatever. But I loved this ring. So I love flamingos. Everybody knows it now. I have flamingo everything, everywhere. And I've just embraced it. My children know it's my favorite animal. I researched flamingos to like figure out things about them. They don't have any known predators. So it's a reminder to me, the symbolism of it is that there's no competition. Nobody's coming to get me. Nobody's out for me. I can just be myself, be in community, and I'll be fine.
I absolutely love that.
Yeah.
Now, before we go, I do have to tell you something funny that I used to love doing.
Okay.
All right. So, one thing I absolutely loved doing in my 20s would be I would go out and buy. You remember those like flamingos that you stick in people's yards?
Yes.
I would go buy like 20 to 50 to even 100 flamingos and
Okay.
go over to my friends' houses without them knowing and them not being home. And I would be like walking around and be like, pop, pop, pop.
That's
And
awesome.
then people, they would come home and they're like, what in the hell is going on? And I wouldn't tell them anything until like a couple days later. And they're like, that's funny.
That sounds like my type of party. We could be cool. I
I
might have to
mean,
do
I think
that.
we already are cool.
Right?
All right. So for our viewer at home, what are you going to be singing?
I am going to be singing A Beach of My Own. It is my first single off of my forthcoming EP. Yet to be determined when it'll come out, but A Beach of Mine will be out very soon.
Absolutely love that. And thanks so much for opening up and sharing your story.
Thank you.
I hope you at home, if you are single, if you have children, if you're married, whatever it is, like really embrace who you are and don't think that you're empty without someone else.
Yeah. That's the thing, because being an individual allows you to have richer relationships. If you just
Absolutely.
fold into what other people expect of you, you can't really grow.
Become your own gravity.
Become your own gravity. I like that.
All right, Carolyn, thank you so much.
Thank you.
After the storm, I was washed ashore. The sun rose again, and all was calm. I'm at peace. I'm at peace on a beach of my own. My sanctuary, yeah. This is where I belong. This is where I belong. Blue skies surround, sea breezes, hot sand, the warmth of his hands, and all is well. And I'm at peace. I'm at peace. For everything there is a season. For me it's time to bloom, to face the sun with dancing, yeah. Right where I've been planted, and I have no regrets, and I don't second guess, 'cause I'm at peace, yeah. I'm at peace on a beach of my own, on a beach of my own, on a beach, yeah, on a beach, yeah, my sanctuary. My sanctuary, right here is my sanctuary, yeah, on a beach of